All right, what's going on YouTube? I'm back. This is my fifth, sixth time recording this video. Um, yeah, mock draft 1.0. I just kept on kind of pushing it off, but we are in the championship rounds now. Today's Tuesday, January 24th. So there's only four teams left: Bengals, Chiefs, and Eagles, 49ers. So, kind of starting to shape up, what the first round draft order is going to look like. Um, and obviously there's going to be, whatever 28 picks or 27, whatever it would be finalized. And like there's certain spots or whatever is what I'm talking about. And yeah, I've been trying my hardest to get one of these videos out. I'm a senior in college, so in my last semester. So, got a lot going on. So I'm gonna try to get this one out as I can and try to get as many out as I can, time permitting. So we're on a new website here, NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator. Compared to the Draft Network, their mock draft machine still isn't up. It's been down for a little while now. But I actually do kind of like this because I can trade on here. So for the sake of the video, some trades might be unrealistic, but yeah, I'm gonna actually go ahead and start here. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna trade this first overall pick. Actually, I think Chicago's in a position to where they can trade out of here. I don't know what's happening here. Why? How do I do this? Okay, trade. Chicago. Trade pick number one. And I think the most likely team here is Indianapolis. Obviously, they'd have to move four. They'd probably have to move a future first and another future first. But just for the sake of this video to get this thing done, let me see what happens here. If I can just do this. Okay, I can just do that. That works. But again, there's probably gonna be more picks thrown in there. But I'm just doing it for the sake of video since I'm only doing one round. Um, And at number one overall, the Indianapolis Colts would go quarterback in this situation. They're jumping a team like Houston, who probably wants a quarterback. It's going to be Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, and I'm still on the wave. And obviously, y'all haven't heard me say this since I said I recorded this a bunch of times, and this is the first time I'm probably going to actually put it out. But I'm on the wave of CJ Stroud as the first quarterback off the board. I think he's the most, what's the word here? Not perfect, but most complete guy. Will Levis has all the intangibles. Will Levis has the size. He just hasn't had the production before. Bryce Young has everything that you want in a quarterback. Also, it's just the size concern. And CJ Stroud, I think, is right in the middle of both of those guys. And I think come May or April, whenever the draft is this year, I think CJ Stroud's the guy off the board at number one. I could be wrong, but I like to latch on to a guy, quarterback prospect, and CJ Stroud has been the guy I've latched onto for a little while now. Here at two, then Houston has an easy pick. They take Bryce Young. They also get their quarterback of the future. At three, Arizona's interesting because Arizona's another team that I could see jumping back potentially, especially with more teams maybe wanting a quarterback. Seattle could potentially need one. Potentially, that's the word there. Detroit doesn't necessarily need one, but some people could see them taking them. Las Vegas is probably going to do one. Carolina, maybe Atlanta. And honestly, something that I think is like something you got to really keep an eye on is situation of Baltimore, like what happens there with their quarterback position. That is something not a lot of people have talked about. But I'm gonna keep Arizona at three here. They got to replace JJ Watt now. It was a corner, probably was probably gonna be the pick, but JJ Watt retiring is big loss for them. Will Anderson Jr. is on the board. You got to take him at that point. Chicago's interesting because at one, if they were to stay, I would probably see him going Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. I think Jalen Carter is the most complete prospect in this draft. It's just more of a team fit. Whereas for him, but I think Chicago's in the perfect position right here to take Jalen Carter at four. Seattle at five, it's probably edge. Miles Murphy is a guy that I've looked at for a long time that I like as a fit in Seattle. So I'm going to keep it that way. Yeah, Miles Murphy at five to Seattle. I like it. Detroit is interesting because it's almost like, is it best player available? Like, what is it? You go Tyree Wilson? Do you go Brian Bresee? Do you go Christian Gonzalez? I think it's definitely a defensive guy, I would think. And I like Christian Gonzalez, honestly, a lot at 6 to Detroit. At 7, with Will Levis sitting on the board, Las Vegas probably has to go Will Levis. It kind of screws Carolina out of the like quarterback, run. However, I don't think I'm going to go quarterback. I think Paris Johnson Jr. is a Raider. I don't know. I just feel like he's a Raider in my head. I can just see it. This is really a tough pick. I'm gonna go Paris Johnson Jr. at 7 to Las Vegas. At 8, Atlanta, you're going defense, whether that's edge, D-line, corner, who knows. Grady Jarrett's getting pretty old. I think you replace him with another interior defensive lineman out of Clemson with Brian Rasee. Brian Rasee also has versatility. He can hop to the outside, honestly, if you really, really, really need him to. But I think that's a good, kind of like replacement pick there, keeping your ties with Clemson at that position. At 9, it's so obvious. Will Levis, he's been tied to the Panthers and David Tepper for a little while now. If he's on the board and the Carolina Panthers need a quarterback or wanting to go quarterback, I think he's the pick for them easily. Here's an interesting pick at 10, Philadelphia. I mean, obviously a complete team. They are 1 win away from Super Bowl. They have another first-round pick. Honestly, I mean, if you win the Super Bowl, unless you have a big, big, big loss, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't probably trade out of here and maybe get more draft capital for the future. However, though, I'm not going to trade back. There's potentially lose James Bradberry in free agency. And because of that, I think I am going to go. I like Keely Ringo more as a fit in Philly than I do Joey Porter Jr., honestly. I think I'm going to go Keely Ringo at 10 to Philly. Okay, at 11, Tennessee is another one of these interesting teams. It's where do they go? I mean, they need edge help. They need offensive tackle help. They need wide receiver help. They need a lot of help, a lot, except for that running back position, and maybe their secondary a little bit, because those guys are young. So it gets interesting because, you got some top-end guys on the board here. You got Tyree Wilson still, who, is like a lanky edge rusher that is similar to Trayvon Walker. You got Quentin Johnson, who's, like that kind of I actually have my I actually wrote down some stuff about players. Quentin Johnson's kind of like that receiver that you want, so to say, I guess. He's big, physical, but he also has great speed, stuff like that. And then Peter Skoronski is probably the best tackle as of right now. Now, Paris Johnson Jr. has the, maybe intangibles. Peter Skoronski does have short arms, so to say. But I think that they would focus wide receiver, honestly. You can only get younger at that position, especially with your best guy being Robert Woods, and he's out a lot, and your next best receiver maybe not even being a wide receiver 3 on most teams. Well, sorry, I'm sorry. I forgot about Traylon Burks. Never mind. I lied. That's tough. Then we'll go Peter Skoronski at 11, Tennessee. Oh, drop my notebook. At 12, Houston, I think they double up on offense, get Bryce Young a weapon. Quentin Johnson and Jordan Addison sitting here are both very interesting picks, but I think Quentin Johnson would go to Houston over Jordan Addison, fit-wise. Here's an interesting pick because, once those two guys go off the board and Skoronski and Johnson Jr., Broderick Jones is also very good, honestly. I do have him as Oh, maybe I don't. I thought I had him ranked top 20 in this class, but I guess I don't. So never mind what I was going to say. I do think he is a very good tackle, though. I think he is similar to both those guys that have already come off the board. You can only get younger at the position. I could see them looking at Brian Branch. I do think Brian Branch is a very good player. However, I think you replace Fant over there on. I think he's at right tackle, and Mekhi Becton's always injured. I feel like so. I think just going tackle a top end talent like Broderick Jones is a great pick for the New York Jets. At 14, I would be willing to. I just got a report of the Cardinals might trade DeAndre Hopkins. Interesting. At 14, New England, it's probably receiver if not corner. But with Jordan Addison sitting on the board, I just feel like he's a New England Patriot. Now, here's where it gets interesting again. is Green Bay, everybody receiver, past couple years, receiver, Green Bay receiver. Robert Tonyan is a free agent this year. Do they sign him? Probably not. They've got other guys that they need to focus money on. So I like Michael Mayer. I think he definitely is a first-round talent. And I think it's a good fit there at 15 for Green Bay. At 16, Washington, it's probably corner. Joey Porter Jr. is still on the board. But again, it's a fit thing for me. I low-key like the fit of Cam Smith better, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Joey Porter Jr. at 16 to Washington. Now here's a pick that not a lot of people are talking about, and I love it. And I'm gonna do it for my Steelers, and I'm also a Clemson fan. So people might say I'm biased here, but I'm gonna take Trenton Simpson right here at 17. So we do have Devin Bush coming off of the books this year. We also have Miles Jack, obviously, there at that middle linebacker position. But I think Trenton Simpson is so versatile, and I think that if we do end up getting to keep Brian Flores, if he doesn't go get a DC job somewhere, and behind Brian Flores and Mike Tomlin, I think Trenton Simpson could have a very, very high potential, like a Fred Warner-esque middle linebacker. And I would be fine with him, 100% fine with him replacing Devin Bush. I'm not really sure if I want to re-sign Devin Bush, to be honest. He's a very young player, but he just hasn't really proved too much after that rookie year. So I'm going to take Trenton Simpson at 17 to the Steelers. At 18, Detroit gets interesting. I'd probably stay focused on defense again. And I think I'm going to go with Tyree Wilson. I can't believe he's fell this far, honestly. I have Tyree Wilson ranked as the 11th best player in the draft. So I'm going to take Tyree Wilson at 18. I can't let him fall any farther. Pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson. Man, that's going to be scary. At 19, Tampa Bay is interesting because you don't really know what's going on at quarterback. So I could see the argument for Anthony Richardson here. However, because we don't know what's going to happen, and until then, I'm not going to take a quarterback. I'm going to give them another corner in Cam Smith. I think it's a very good pick for Tampa Bay at 19. At 20, I think Seattle, again, like Detroit, who had an early pick and then like a later round pick. I think you just got to stay focused on the defense. Defensive line could be of use. However, there's not anybody really there. So Devin Witherspoon. Clark Phillips just seems like a Seahawk corner, though. But I think Devin Witherspoon is better than him, so I think Devin Witherspoon would be the pick at 20. I know there's a lot of hype around Darnell Washington right here at 21 to the Chargers. I don't see it happening, though. I would see them more going Anton Harrison route or Jackson Smith-Njigba route, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to take JSN to the Chargers at 20. Sorry, 21, sorry. At 22, Baltimore, really they get kind of screwed out of that right there because I think, Smith-Njigba is definitely the pick there if he's on the board. But now that he's off, you got to look at some. I don't really get the running back hype. I mean, Bijan Robinson obviously is an absolute monster. Have him ranked 17th in this class. I just think that I just don't see him doing it. However, I like Clark Phillips here. They do have Marcus Peters coming off of the books this season, and I could see him potentially going somewhere else. So as of right now, I do like a corner pick at 22 for Baltimore. Again, another team that could use a corner, and at this point, they're kind of all off the board. Emmanuel Forbes has first round maybe potential, but I don't think he would go first round. So then you got to look more towards like edge maybe for Minnesota. Yeah. Potentially Brian Branch. You know what? No, I like that. I like Brian Branch at 23 for Minnesota. Brian Branch I have as the 20th best player in the draft. I think he's got versatility because he can play safety and corner. He's really good, honestly, as that nickel guy also. So I think Brian Branch could definitely be of use to Minnesota, who does need a secondary guy in general. And with a versatility like that, I could definitely see that happening. At 24, Jacksonville, you're maybe looking offense. I think if Michael Mayer is on the board here, you definitely look Michael Mayer. Evan Ingram is a free agent. He's had a good year in Jacksonville, so I could see them potentially going after him. I could see them looking receiver with, I think, Zay Jones being a free agent, or maybe Marvin Jones. One of those two is a free agent, but I don't really see it solely because you've got Christian Kirk on a contract for 3 more years. You just traded for Calvin Ridley. So I think Anton Harrison could be of use there at 24 for Jacksonville. A really good pass blocking offensive tackle there out of Oklahoma. At 25, the Giants, you're probably looking receiver. If not, you're looking linebacker / corner. Again, with lack of depth at all 3 of these positions, it's really hard. So I think I'm going to take Osiris Torrance. Josh Downs and Jalen Hine are first-round talents, but they're just so weak at wide receiver. I think they do it. I think they go for Josh Downs at 25. At 26, Dallas, honestly, I could see them taking Drew Sanders. It just seems like a Dallas pick to me. I don't know why, but I think honestly they might would look Emmanuel Forbes. I think there's potential there. I think there really is. You know what? I'm going to do it. Emmanuel Forbes at 26 to Dallas. That just seems like a Dallas pick. I don't know why. Buffalo's got the easiest pick in the world here. Bijan Robinson. We all know why. We all saw it against the Bengals the other day. They had no run game at all. They had to pass the ball the whole time. The Bengals were selling out on it, and they were stopping them. It's such an easy pick for Buffalo. At 28, Cincinnati. I could see them looking Darnell. Dude, I actually like that. Darnell Washington at 28 to Cincinnati. I like that pick. I don't know why. Never thought about it, but I like it. I think Hayden Hurst is a free agent this year. At 29, Denver, they have why can't I think? They have San Fran's pick, sorry. Probably look at edge. Oh, actually, no. Osiris Torrance at 29's got to be the pick for Denver. Yeah. Yeah, like it. 30, Kansas City, you're looking edge. Maybe DeJuan Jones. Nah, you're looking edge, and a guy like Nolan Smith, Isaiah Foxy, and BJ Ojolari are in here. I think all 3 of these guys are very similar. I think that they would take the chance on Nolan Smith, though, coming off of the injury. However, I think as of right now, BJ Ojolari, if I was a GM picking, I would take probably BJ first. I think he's got the most potential here. Foskey also really good. Like I said, all 3 of these guys really good edge rushers, just, back first in talent, not that top tier like a Tyree Wilson or a Will Anderson or a Miles Murphy. But I think BJ Ojolari at 30 is a good pick for Kansas City. Philly, they went and got that corner, so now they probably look an edge. I think Nolan Smith is such a versatile guy that they could definitely use him very well. And then technically the first pick of the second round, but the 32nd pick of the draft is Pittsburgh Steelers after the Chase Claypool trade. And honestly, you're probably looking something more of D-line / maybe offensive tackle here. And I think DeJuan Jones is a good pick for Pittsburgh at 32. So again, we had CJ Stroud going at 1 to Indianapolis after the trade. Bryce Young at 2. Will Anderson 3. Jalen Carter 4. Miles Murphy 5. Christian Gonzalez 6. Paris Johnson Jr. 7. Brian Bresee 8. Will Levis 9. Keely Ringo 10. Peter Skoronski 11. Quentin Johnson 12. Broderick Jones 13. Jordan Addison 14. Michael Mayer 15. Joey Porter Jr. 16. Trenton Simpson 17. Tyree Wilson 18. Cam Smith 19. Devin Witherspoon 20. Jackson Smith Najigba at 21. Clark Phillips III at 22, Brian Branch at 23, Anton Harrison 24, Josh Downs 25, Manuel Forrest 26, Bijan Robinson 27, Darnell Washington 28, Osiris Torrance 29, BJ Ojolari 30, Nolan Smith 31, and DeJuan Jones at 32. So yeah, that's my first mock draft that I'm gonna actually upload. I don't know. I guess that's all. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see y'all next time in whatever video I make. Yeah, peace.